the birth of Srinivasa Acharya, the birth ceremony of Srinivasa Acharya, Srinivasa Acharya's childhood pastimes of Srinivasa Acharya prior to going to Vrindavan. Srinivasa Acharya receives initiation instruction from Gopal Bhatta Goswami that we read yesterday. Lokanath Goswami and Bhugarba Goswami visit Vrindavan. That's heavy. That's what we have to read today. Lord Chaitanya saves love of God for Narottama Dasa Thakura. The birth of Narottama Dasa Thakura. Narottama Dasa Thakura leaves home. Narottama Dasa Thakura takes initiation from Lokanath Goswami in Vrindavan. Srinivasa Acharya and Narottama Dasa Thakura are ordered to go to Bengal. Srinivasa Acharya recovers the stolen books and converts the king Viracandra. Srinivasa Acharya meets Ramachandra Kaviraj and Govinda Kaviraj and attends Narottama Dasa Thakura's festival at Kituri. Sri Jahnava-devi meets Narottama Dasa Thakura and then travels to Vrindavan. You know you're staying next to Narottama Dasa Thakura's deity Radha Raman in Gangudri. You know that? Yes? Have you been inside? It's amazing. That's the original deity of Narottama Dasa Thakura right in front of you there. Sri Jahnava-devi meets the Goswamis of Vrindavan and then returns to Bengal. Viracandra Prabhu initiates Srinivasa Acharya's son, instructions by Narottama Dasa Thakura. The deliverance of Harivamsa by Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the deliverance of Chandraya by Narottama Dasa Thakura, the glories of Ramachandra Kaviraj, the glories of Shyamananda Prabhu, Narottama Dasa Thakura's celebration of Gaur Purnima, the glories of Viracandra Prabhu, the disciple of Srinivasa Acharya, Narottama Dasa Thakura, Shyamananda Prabhu and Ramachandra Kaviraj, the deliverance of Jaga and Madai, the glories of Pundarika Vindyanidhi and Gadada Pandit, the unique characteristic of the Lord's eternal associates, glories of Advaita Acharya Nityananda Prabhu. Now, this book is like Narottama Vilas. It's just like wonderful. But let's read this story here. Lokanath Goswami and Bhugarba Goswami visit Vrindavan. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Sri Advaita Prabhu and the devotees of Lord Gauranga. All glories to Jahnava-devi and Viracandra Prabhu. Their lotus feet are my only shelter. Dear reader, please hear with full attention as I narrate Prema Vilasa. Simply by hearing these pastimes which I am writing on my spiritual master's orders, all the agony in one's heart is vanquished. When Lord Krishna appeared in this world, he was accompanied by Goloka Vrindavan as confirmed by the Vedic literature. The length and breadth of Brajamandala is 168 miles, and Lord Krishna's associates reside throughout the area. That same Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvipa. Krishna's mother, father, servants, friends, and gopi friends also appeared in Navadvipa to assist the Lord in his pastime. First, Lord Maharaj Vishnu appeared as Advaita Acharya in Chantipur. He was the quest jewel amongst the Lord's devotees, was a teacher of them. The Supreme Lord fulfilled his mission with Advaita Prabhu's assistance. Amongst Lord Chaitanya's associates were 24 exalted sannyasis, headed by Madhavendra Puri. All of them were reservoirs of love of God. These exalted persons had all been part of Lord Krishna's family in Vraja. Krishna has 4 kinds of friends and 5 kinds of gopis, and all of them also appeared in Navadvipa. Because I'm writing this narration of my spiritual master's orders, I shall not be held accountable for whatever discrepancies may be found here. That's sweet, no? He ordered me to write it. I may make a mistake, but I'm not accountable. I'm just following order of Guru. We have all heard much about Jagannath Mishra and his wife Sachi Devi, and we are well aware that their first son was named Vishvarupa. Vishvarupa was attractive and highly learned, and his parents were happy to have such a son. Sachi Devi's father lived in the village of Belpukuriya. In the same village lived a learned devotee named Lokanath Pandit, one of Vishwarupa's classmates and friends. The two boys studied together with great enthusiasm. Now kindly hear something about Vishwarupa from me. His parents treated him as their life and soul. He attended Advaita Acharya's school, where he learned various scriptures and soon became famous as a scholar. Because of his learning, Vishwarupa became detached from family life, and sometime later he left home to go on a pilgrimage. Vishwarupa's parents cried profusely because of their sons leaving home, and especially after Vishwarupa shaved his head and took sannyas. Dressed in saffron cloth, he became known as Shankararanya Puri. Lokanath Pandit later became his disciple. Lokanath Pandit lived with Vishwarupa and served him faithfully. But after traveling to holy places for 2 years, Vishwarupa suddenly left the world. So Vishwarupa died very young. Who can understand the Lord's pastime? Prabhupada left 77. Srila Maharaj left 88. Bhakti Puri Maharaj left the world 99. So, and they were all born only 1 year apart. So, Krishna knows who has a job to do and when. It's so clear, you know. What would have happened if Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada would have stayed another 20 years in this planet? Oh my God. Oh my God. He was so powerful. But Krishna arranged it. 77 he took him with him, you know. So Vishwarupa left the world very early. Dear readers, please hear as I tell you something about Lord Nityananda. There is a village named Ekachakra in Radha Desha, where the pious and learned Brahmana Hadai Pandit lived with his wife Padmavati. Nityananda Prabhu appeared as their son. Indeed, the couple was joyful with Nityananda Prabhu, who was in the mother's womb. On the 13th day of the waxing moon, in the month of Magha, Lord Nityananda appeared, marked with all the auspicious signs on his body. He was astonishingly attractive. As a child, he was sometimes silent and sometimes laughing ecstatically. From his birth and until he was 14, Lord Nityananda played constantly with his friends, enacting Lord Krishna's various pastimes. One day, when he was 14 years old, a sannyasi came to Hadai Pandit's house. After being respectfully received and fed, the sannyasi asked for charity. Hadai Pandit, I beg for something in charity from you. Kindly fulfill my desire. Hadai Pandit replied, O Holy One, I will most certainly do so. Tell me, what can I do for you? And then he said, please give me your son in charity. I'm an old man, and he can assist me in my pilgrimage. Do not worry, Father. I will take good care of him. Greatly afflicted by the impending separation, Hadai Pandit gave his son to the sannyasi, who immediately departed. He made Nityananda his disciple, but Lord Nityananda did not accept the sannyas danda. Lord Nityananda traveled with the sannyasi like a wandering mendicant. He was fully absorbed in the mood of Raja and was therefore not aware of what he did or where he went. One day the sannyasi, whose name was Ishvara Puri, Haribol, smiled and told Nityananda, my dear son, now that you have traveled to all the holy places, you should do one thing so that all of your endeavors will be successful. Krishna, the son of Nanda, has appeared in Navadvipa. Seek him out. You will feel immense pleasure in his association. Dear readers, Dear readers, I wish to remind you that Lord Shankarshan and Lord Balaram are the same person, just as Vishwarupa and Shankararanya are are one and the same. The same Lord Balaram has now appeared as Nityananda Avaduta, and the son of Sachi is none other than Nanda's son, Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates were ordered to appear in this world prior to the Lord's advent, and all these associates appeared in and around Navadvipa. Sriman Mahaprabhu appeared on the auspicious full moon day in the month of Falguna and enjoyed childhood pastimes right from birth. It's very funny, you know. You believe these things, you follow Prabhupada, you follow pure devotee, then you go to Navadvipa and you go to some other place, you find out that the local people, they either don't know these things or they don't believe it. Of course, not all. The devotees, they believe it. Fortunately, there are some devotees, but you find many people there, they have nothing to do with that. You know, they are just surviving in this material world. So, that we can believe this is such a grace. That's the grace of the Mahamantra. That we can understand the Lord has appeared here with all these associates. He has made a big plan, and the big plan is going on, and you are part of the big plan. All you have to say, yes, I want to be part of the big plan. I will not go out. I will not leave this plan. I will be part of it. And then we don't know. Subal was born practically in Krishna consciousness. Krishna has a big plan with him, of course. I can see that. He has a great capacity. And in this way, so many things, you know. And, you know, and there was Prabhupada Das from Philippines. Krishna must have a plan, otherwise he wouldn't bring him to Vrindavan, you know, in his ripe age. So, in like this, Krishna has plans. Kamalaksha he's like he's my Guru Bhai, and he could be a sannyasi, and as a matter of fact, he works like a sannyasi. He never got married, no? No, he's like a sannyasi and preaching for Lord Chaitanya up and down everywhere. So, what is the power? What is Radhanti Maharaj supposed to do in this lifestyle? I mean, the guy, everybody loves him, so he better do something big, you know? So like that. So like this, there's so much charge, so much things, so much potential, no? And now the program of the University of Ancient Wisdom and Isho, they're going there. What plan is there? I just say one thing, you know, that what we're reading here, it's still going on. And we may be a lousy part, but we are part of it. Somehow or other, we are part of it. By the grace of Krishna. So let's be a happy part of it. Ramananda. Vishnu. Let's be a happy part of it. Dambasi. Ki Jai. Born in Mayapur. My God, you know. What you have to do when you're born in Mayapur, you're born in Vrindavan. You have the triple responsibility at least. So that's a heavy story, no? How Ishvara Puri took Nityananda with him, no? Actually, I didn't remember that Ishvara Puri was the sannyasi, the same one who initiated Lord Chaitanya, who took Lord Nityananda. So he was a really tricky guy, no? First he catch Nityananda and then he initiated Lord Chaitanya, you know, and then Madhavendra Puri was his disciple too. I mean, this Ishvara Puri, he had something up his sleeves, no? He was really someone. Sriman Mahaprabhu appeared on the auspicious full moon day in the month of Falguna and enjoyed childhood pastimes right from the birth. All of his devotees who appeared in and around Navadvipa gradually came and met the Lord, just as rivers and streams gradually flow to the ocean. Lokanath Goswami was one of these associates. There is a province called Jessore in the eastern side of Navadvipa. Jessore, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, he appeared in Jessore. In that province, this is now Bangladesh, no? In that province is a village called Talagadi. The great Chaitanya Bhakta Lokanath Goswami appeared there. Lokanath Goswami's father was Padmanabha Chakravarti and his mother's name was Sita. Padmanabha Chakravarti and Sita were both pious and learned, and they properly educated their son. In time, the boy became a scholar. No one was more learned than Lokanath in that province, or decorated with all his good qualities. Also, his parents were proud of him. They doubted that he would remain at home and imagined that he would take sanya. Consequently, they prayed for his well-being constantly, even as they worried that he would renounce family life and leave them. You know, this is something when somebody takes sannyas young and goes out from their house. This is like, because in a family you hope that your children, they're going to develop the clan and the dynasty and put a lot of grandchildren there and make a lot of money and fame for the family that says, this is the great family of Vishwambar Chakravarti. And everybody says, yeah. And who was his father? And who was his mother? So every father and mother wants their child to be something important in life. Then a guy comes and he's 20 years old and says, I'm becoming a monk. Huh? You cannot do that, you know. But you cannot do that. But that's what they did. You see, Lokanath Goswami, Vishwarupa, that's what they did. They just walked out. They just walked out from the material life. Like Swami Maharaj, he also walked out from the material life. After the successful career of a software and city planning, I forget something, studies, he said, no, I'm not doing this, I'm going with the Haribols. Huh? They are more interesting, they have more to give, no? So, but I'm sure his father, his mother, they were, oh, are you crazy? I remember Gokeshwara. Gokeshwara, I think, is the only son, or maybe he has a sister also, I forget. When he became a devotee and a renunciant, his parents almost fainted, you know. You can't do that, you are our only hope. Huh? Like in my case, it wasn't so bad because I was a rascal. So they kind of thought, okay, let this guy go. And they had my other brother, he was taking care of the name and fame of the family. So it wasn't that hard, no? But I don't know, what can I speak for the feelings of my parents then also, no? Anyway, I just walked out on that. I walked out, sorry, nothing to do. No studies, no job, no money, no inheritance, I don't care. Bye-bye. So, I remember this one guy, you have to hear that story, you know. He was a rich man's son, and he became a devotee in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And very nice, his name became initiated Radha Raman. His father was living in another city, so when he heard that his son had become a monk, he came to the temple. He said, you get out of here. You get out of here, or I will disinherit you. He said, you know the rules with the job. Hare Krishna, Father, please become a vegetarian. No! Get out of here, come with me. No, I'm very happy what I'm doing. No! I saw the guy's face, it was like purple. And then when he ran out, in the next morning he came back with a red Ferrari type of car. I don't know if it was a Ferrari. He bought his son this sports car, which is at least $300,000 or more. I don't know. And he came in and he said, this is yours if you get it. This is yours. And Radha Raman, he looked at his father with compassion, said, Father, because he always had wanted to have a car, you know. Father hadn't bought him a car like that before. You know, crazy young kid, rich kids, you know, they're nuts. So he said, this is yours if you get out of here. And Father, I'm so happy here. I saw the look on the face of this man. He couldn't believe this word anymore. his $300,000 car was worth nothing. With his head down, he went out, sat in the car and drove off. Dramatic, no? It's the drama which Prabhupada has put in scene in this world. A drama. In the USA, the people were so upset about people becoming devotees that they hired Ted Patrick. There's actually a debate of Srinivasa Goswami versus Ted Patrick. Have you seen that? Oh, you should see that. That's funny because Ted Patrick he was charged for kidnapping. They would go to the temples and kidnap the devotee. Then they would take them to some house, lock them up, give them no food, and say, Prabhupada is bad, Prabhupada is against. And they would like blaspheme into his ears for 2 days, 3 days, and they would torture them, you know. It was psychological warfare. And then only if the guy promised, I will not go back to this temple, I will go back to my mom. And then the parents would come to Ted Patrick, pick up their children, pay him. He charged $50,000 for deprogramming a person. So later he went to jail for kidnapping people. There was a case. So there's a TV interview, Ted Patrick versus Srinivasa Goswami. Very interesting. You have to see. I just by chance I came across that because in YouTube you find everything these days. No? It's just amazing, you know. So they kidnap people and they called it deprogramming from the prod. Like this, they were saying the sect has brainwashed these people. Now we have to take them and deprogram them, take all these things out and make materialism enticing to them again. So but you can see even the father of Nityananda in Padmavati, they fainted when Ishvara Puri told them to take his son. And he was 14 only. So anyhow, sometimes they come back. Nityananda later got married, you know. And Kokeshwar also later got married. But some stay sannyas, so it's a very heavy thing, you know, to go in the world of renunciation and serve Lord Chaitanya and going here and there. And amazing. So here's the story of Lokanath. When Lokanath realized that his parents were thinking of finding him a wife, he began to plan how to leave his home. Narottama, Lokanath. The symptoms of his renunciation increased as he began to meditate constantly on Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Finally, Lokanath resolved to leave his home to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. In the dead of one Kartik night, Lokanath left. He walked 16 miles without rest and reached Navadvipa the next morning. I mean, he was a Dambasi, you know. When his parents awoke and found him gone, they cried pathetically. Upon arrival in Navadvipa, Lokanath did not know where to go. He walked around the streets and asked people for the whereabouts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's house. All the while he meditated on what he should say to introduce himself to the Lord. And praying for the Lord's mercy. When he finally arrived at the Lord's house, he saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting, surrounded by his devotees, headed by Gadadhar Pandit and Murari Gupta. Lokanath was astonished to see the Lord's exquisite form. He immediately offered heartfelt obeisance to the Lord and began to cry in ecstasy. Regaining his composure, Lokanath folded his hands. He simply stood there, not knowing what to say. The Lord mercifully embraced Lokanath. "O Lokanath, you had forgotten me? How could you stay away from me for so long?" While saying these words, Lord Gauranga also began to cry, thanking Providence for allowing him to meet Lokanath. You see, he's the Supreme Lord, and he cries to meet his devotee. Just like Krishna cried when Gopakumar finally came and he fainted. So, Lokanath caught hold of the Lord's lotus feet while shedding tears of ecstatic love. We have to make a sign for Jahnava-devi's well. And we need that in Hindi, Bengali and English to make a plaque to put on the well that they stop throwing garbage there. It should say, take darshan here of Jahnava-devi's well. And in Hindi and Bengali. If you can write this down for me, I can have it carved and I will put the plaque there in the Gopinath Mandir. The Lord then made Lokanath sit by his side while he gazed at him. Then Lokanath offered his obeisance to Gadadhar Pandit, who returned the respect, and both of them embraced in affection. Lokanath and Gadadhar Pandit told one another, today my eyes have become successful because I'm able to see a jewel-like personality. They then spent time happily discussing Krishna Katha, absorbed in transcendental ecstasy, and floating in an ocean of love of God. Next, Lokanath met Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, and some of the Lord's other associates. In this way, he spent 5 days at Navadvipa in the Lord's association, relishing Krishna Katha and chanting the holy names. One day the Lord said to Lokanath, O Lokanath, how were you able to leave home and come here? In reply, Lokanath narrated the entire incident of his leaving home, and while doing so informed the Lord that his lotus feet were his only treasure and that everything else was insignificant. One day, when somebody approaches a guru today, he goes with him. Sometimes his whole life changes from there on. This is, like Lord Chaitanya, he turned Lokanath's life around by his attachment. This movement of Lord Chaitanya is so charged with this willingness to go into a new world. One day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Lokanath to a solitary place and said, I have many confidential things to disclose, but I do not know to whom I should speak. I have come to this world with a specific mission, and all of you have appeared to assist me, but somehow or other my mission is not being fulfilled, and I am pained at heart. I want to disclose my mind to Nityananda and Advaita so that I can solicit their opinion. I appeared in Bengal after having assumed the mood of Sri Radha, but I've been unable to relish the ecstatic emotions for which I made my advent. For my pleasure, Sri Radha left her family members, social standing and opulence, completely surrendering herself to me. She glorified my transcendental beauty and qualities day and night. She became so afflicted by separation from me that she did not even bother to dress properly. She behaved just like a mad woman. Her body became as soft as a lotus petal and as thin as a strand of thread. She repeatedly condemned the Creator for not awarding her millions of eyes to see me. She never looked at the face of any other man, but longed always for my intimate association in the grooves along the bank of the Yamuna. Also, I tried to deceive her in various ways. As soon as Sri Radha saw me, she forgot everything and became jubilant. She considered a moment's separation from me longer than 100 yugas. Such was the degree of her love. Her love is so deep that not even the Vedas can properly describe her exalted position. Sri Radhika is the queen of Vrindavan, and she is very dear to me. She is my life and soul as I am hers. I reside in Vrindavan only for her pleasure and think always of her pastimes. The gopis headed by Sri Radhika are overwhelmed by transcendental mellows not experienced even by my friends, servants or parents. Oh Lokanath, I am telling you the truth when I say that I am eternally indebted to Sri Radhika. Apart from this, There's one more consideration I want to tell you. Previously a Brahmana came and blasphemed me in various ways. The Brahmana had previously committed an offense against me, and that is why he was destined to act like this. He did not accept Lord Krishna as the spiritual master of the entire world, but instead wandered about acting proud. He rejected Lord Krishna's lotus feet and instead took shelter of the demigods. He could not understand that not only he, but all the Brahmanas had emanated from the Lord Krishna's lotus mouth. During the day he worshipped his Lord, and at night he drank wine. He advised himself, he had advertised himself as most powerful and denied Vyasadeva's conclusion. Rather than worshipping Krishna, this Brahmana worshipped his own maidservant. This kind of practice leads many people to Yamaraj's abode. Because of these offenses, he soon fell down from his Brahminical position. Actually, he became so degraded that he was less than a Sudra. For all these reasons, I have decided to accept sannyas on the third day of the waxing moon in the month of Posha. Generally, members of all the Varnas, including the Brahmanas, accept a sannyasi as a spiritual master. For this reason, I will certainly leave home and wander throughout the entire country. But this incident with the Brahmana is only my external reason. The deeper reason is that I want to relish Sri Radhika's moods and sentiments. My body is bluish, so Sri Radhika finds pleasure in dressing in blue clothing. When she feels intense separation from me, she dresses herself in saffron. She always considers herself my maidservant. All of the gopis headed by Sri Radhika are overwhelmed with separation from me, and I from Sri Radhika. Therefore I assumed her mood and complexion when I appeared in this world. Now I wish to wear saffron and constantly sing her transcendental glories. I will not be able to reach the end of those glories, even if I sing them for hundreds of lifetimes. O Lokanath, I am fully indebted to Sri Radhika's divine qualities. I will inundate the entire world with a flood of her glories. Only then will I attain ecstatic love for her. That is why I will cry in ecstatic love and dance in sanctity. After saying all this, Lord Gauranga began to cry while chanting Radha in Vrindavan. Lokanath embraced the Lord and tried to console him, but the Lord continued to shiver due to his ecstatic love for Sri Radha. The Lord then said, O Lokanath, leave for Vrindavan early tomorrow morning. You, Rupa, Sanatan, Gopal Bhatta, Raghunath Bhatta, and Raghunath Das should write books glorifying Krishna's pastime. Because I have empowered him, Rupa Goswami will especially be able to compile many wonderful books. O Lokanath, also you know well the scriptural conclusions. I will impart something confidential to you. In the scriptures it is stated that Lord Krishna has three features in which he exhibits himself as perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. Also Krishna is one. He manifests different characteristics in various features. Lord Krishna exhibits two types of conjugal pastimes, Swakiya and Parakiya. The queens of Dwaraka worship Krishna in Swakiya Rasa, whereas the gopis of Vrindavan worship Krishna in Parakiya Rasa. Among all of Krishna's worshippers, the Vraja gopis are the topmost. These gopis observe the strict vow and worship goddess Katyayani in order to obtain Krishna as their husband. The gopis are divided into two groups. Sri Radha is the leader of one group and Chandravali is the leader of the other. These two groups' leaders are completely opposite in their nature and characteristics. The gopis headed by Radha are Vama and the left-wing gopis, and by nature arrogant. And the gopis headed by Chandravali are Dakshina, or right-wing gopis, and are by nature submissive. At this point in his discourse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was overwhelmed by ecstatic love. Even though Lokanath had been the Lord's companion in his previous incarnation, by Yogamaya's arrangement he had forgotten their previous relationship. But after hearing the Lord's word and by the Lord's mercy, Lokanath began to remember. This proves that one who is favored by the Lord can realize his eternal constitutional position. The Lord is naturally merciful towards his pure devotees. Lokanath asked, "My Lord, I have a doubt, so I request you to kindly remove it." Srila Vyasadeva compiled many scriptures in which he extensively described the proper methods for worshipping Lord Krishna. O Lord, I wish to know whether or not you approve of these methods. The Lord replied, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one without a second. He manifests himself in various expansions, plenary portions and portions of his plenary portions. Also Srila Vyasadeva elaborated, described the worship of the Supreme Lord's expansion incarnation. He did not describe in details the worship of the Supreme Lord in the mood of Raja. The Braja Bhaktas worship Krishna in Dasya, Shakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya Ratis. You will find no awe and reverence in these four rasas. Only the most exalted devotees are selected to invite the Madhurya mood, and it is impossible for ordinary devotees to understand the exalted position of the Madhurya rasa. Even the devotees who worship Krishna in the other three rasas cannot enter into the Madhurya rasa pastime. In Madhurya rasa, the supreme hero, Krishna, enjoys transcendental pastimes with the supreme heroine, Sri Radha. Only the servants and maidservants of Sri Radha can understand the intricacies of Madhurya rasa. Others can never comprehend it. Ordinary people cannot understand the Parakiya rasa because it is so confidential. Srila Vyasadeva mostly describes the influence and opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his writings. He did not say much about worshipping the Supreme Lord in the mood of the Brajabasi. Srila Vyasadeva primarily described devotional service mixed with knowledge, hoping to gradually bring people closer to Krishna. Under my guidance, Srila Rupa Goswami will describe the pure devotional service executed by the Brajabasis. When the devotees enthusiastically render devotional service according to Srila Rupa Goswami's instruction, they will certainly attain love for God. Simply by association with sadhus or by following their instruction, one is sure to attain perfection. What will distinguish Sri Rupa Goswami's writing is that he will substantiate his conclusions by citing examples from Krishna's pastimes as he has seen them through his own realization. This method of presentation will enable his followers to strengthen their conviction. So long. I think we have to finish here and continue this tomorrow. It's too nectarian to stop, but we have so much other things to do today. So we are on page number